Hi, and welcome to the tutorial based on embedding YouTube clips in PowerPoint. So obviously, as daft as it sounds, one of the first things that we obviously need to do is to actually have a YouTube clip for ourselves to play. So as you can see here, I've actually chose a site, chose a piece of video. It's on interactive teaching stuff. That's the kind of thing I look at. What is important is when we have selected the clip, we've made sure it's appropriate. We've made sure that the content is right and that it plays and that it loads okay. So they're the few things that you need to do to make sure that your clip's okay, because it's a waste of time downloading a clip that doesn't play, isn't suitable, or won't let you embed it if you try and get the embed code, because some people restrict you from actually using it. You can watch it, but you can't repurpose. So what is in the main thing for us now is now we've chose our clip and it will play. We might as well look at the player now, because this is what you're going to replicate when you embed it in your PowerPoint. So you have a play button and pause. You have a audio button, levels, which this one slides this way, but the one we have will slide up and down. And you have the resolution at which this video plays. The higher the number, the better the quality. And on these ones here, we have a full screen option for blowing it full screen. That's the player. We are going to build a similar player in our PowerPoint, and what we are now going to do is look at this coding at the top I've just clicked on. We need to right click and copy that code. It changes for each video that you capture, and it is our unique code to embed this video into our PowerPoint. It's the most important thing. Right click and copy that code. So I'm going to minimize that now, and we're now on what you can see is a typical PowerPoint slide. There are some buttons on here and a template. They are covered in previous tutorials. So what we're going to do is go to the developer tab. We are going to press the button which is the tools button, and that will bring up the more controls box. We need to slide down under the S category, so you can start slowing down once you see the S's coming up. And we're going to choose and click on Shockwave Flash Object. That will have now gone orange. We now press OK, and a set of crosshairs appear. We draw a box about the same size as the TV show that we was looking at, and that produces something that looks a little bit like an envelope. That is going to be our player. What we now do is right click and go to Properties. It's a rather large box with lots of lines and columns and things in it. Don't let it frighten you. You may find when you've opened it it's quite small, and you may need to drag it out just to give you the space that you want to see what you want to do. The first thing we want to do is to click on the movie, come to the corresponding box and paste in that YouTube code that we just had. Now we know we've got it in, we can relax. So what we're going to do now is deal with two other topics, which is loop. Do we want it to loop? If you're doing an induction, you might want it to. In this case, I don't. And in typical computer language, true means yes, false means no. So I'm going to come across to the little box at the bottom, at the side of it, and choose false, because in this instance, I don't want to loop it. We also want to come down to the playing button, because that means I want it to play immediately that the PowerPoint screen comes on. And in this instance I don't. I want to create the player, and I want to decide when the video plays, because I want to build it into my teaching and learning delivery and not just have it blurting out as soon as the screen comes on. So we've made playing false and loop false. The only other thing we need to now do is do a little bit of coding change just to make sure that it embeds. It sounds complicated, but once you've learnt this little trick, it's the same for every time. So what we're going to do is we're going to wipe across the watch and the question mark and delete it. So we now should have youtube.com/v. We're now going to go to the equal sign and change that to a /. So we now have www.youtube.com/v/. Once we've done that, and you do that every time, no matter what the video is, but just to remind you that there might be a bit of additional coding in if you haven't checked it, where somebody might not want you to embed it, and no matter what you do, you can do this till the cows come home, it won't embed because they don't want you to. But that would have come from your selection choice. Once you've finished that and you're happy with that, we've got false, false, and we've got the YouTube code looking like that. We can click the little red button, and what we now want to do is to test it. So we go to slideshow, current slide, because you don't want to have to scroll through all the slides to get to where you want to be. And when the video comes on and plays, you can see now what we've got is we've actually got this triangle embedded in the middle. That is the YouTube link. If you click that, goes to the YouTube site, brings up all the adverts and everything to go with it. We've now got a player that looks very, very similar to the box that we had before. You've got your play button, you've got your audio control, you've got the actual time that's playing, the bar that moves across as it plays, and once it is playing, and I'll prove this, so now we'll load it in, and it's playing. I'll reduce the volume of the audio. This has now come up with its setting, and if I click that, you can see that it's actually only got that setting. That's what we've encoded it in at. That gives you the options of bringing the kind of things in YouTube, but you will get the adverts and things, and that will load in more choices, but I would stay away from them if you can. We can pause it here, we can scroll through it and press play from that point. We can interact with our learners, and it's cleaned it up because it's embedded it into the box. What we need to make sure we've done now is when we save it as a macro enabled presentation. So before I do that, I'm going to end the show, and what I'm going to say is this: it's now an object, so we can move it about. We could place content at this side. It could be a text box, it could be a picture, it could be a text box down here, and the two things are interrelated. So either the video supports your other learning objects, or the learning objects that you're putting in here support the video. You can place it anywhere you would like. It's totally free to move, but in doing so, and because it's going to act on its own accord, what we need to do is to come up here to the button. We want to save this presentation as another format, and what we get here, as it says PowerPoint presentation, if you saved it as a PowerPoint presentation, it wouldn't see the macro. So we open the box and come down to the second one, which is macro enabled presentation, and we save that. That concludes the tutorial on embedding video for YouTube. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.